Alright, we are going to talk about finding the terminal side of an angle. So we want to know where the stopping point for an angle might be based on its measure. Now we have our basics here, so we know that quadrant 1 is for angles between 0 and 90 degrees, and we can see that, right? If we stop at 90, we know we have a right angle, or a 90-degree angle if we stop at this y-axis. There's 90 degrees in each quadrant, so the first quadrant, quadrant 1, is from 0 to 90. Quadrant 2 is from 90 degrees to 180 degrees. Quadrant 3 is from 180 to 270, and 270 to 360 is in quadrant 4. And notice again, these are 90 degrees each. The other thing we're going to talk about is the direction that an angle opens. If it's a positive angle, it will open counterclockwise. So they always start at 0 here. If it's positive, it will open up in a counterclockwise direction. If it's a negative angle, it will open down instead. So again, it would start at 0, but will open down. So for example, the angle positive 120 degrees would start at 0 and would open 120 degrees, which would put it here. It's more than 90, but it's less than 180. This would be positive 120. If I had the angle negative 120 degrees, it would still start at 0, but it would open clockwise or downward into quadrant 4, and it would go, here's negative 90 degrees, and it would go into this quadrant. It's not going to make it all the way to negative 180, so it would be here. Okay, so this angle is negative 120, while this angle is positive 120. So you can see it makes a big difference. This one stopped in quadrant 2, while this one stopped in quadrant 3, and that's going to make a big difference in our calculations later on. So let's answer a few questions. In what quadrant or on which axis, because sometimes an angle will stop right at 180, does the angle 311 degrees lie? Well, let's try it out. Where would 311 be? It would start here. It's positive, so it would open up. It's bigger than 90. It's bigger than 180. It's bigger than 270, but it is not bigger than 360. So it would stop between 270 and 360, meaning that it is in quadrant 4. So our answer here, the terminal side, is in quadrant 4. Next. What about the angle negative 311? Well, we know we have to go 311 degrees, but this time we're going to go in the negative direction. So we start at 0, and we're going to open down. So we go down, this would be negative 90, negative 180, negative 270. You can even label those if it helps. We're just going in the opposite direction and going 90 degrees every time. It's not going to make it to negative 360. So again, it's going to stop short of a full circle, but when we do negative 311, since it's going clockwise, we stop here in quadrant 1. Okay, so that positive or negative in front makes a big difference with our angles. What about this one? In which quadrant does the angle 645 lie? Well, what are we going to do now? Because our circle only goes to 360 degrees. How could we possibly have a 645 degree angle? Well, that means that it goes past a full circle and continues onward. So we would go one full circle, right? 360, right? And then we go 90 more at each place. But it can be kind of cumbersome to add 90 and add 90 and add 90 and find out where we are. So one thing we can do is take the 645 degree angle and subtract the full circle from it. Okay, so if we subtract the full circle, we'll find out how much is left over. And we find out we have 285 degrees left over. So that means this angle starts at 0 makes one full circle, that's 360, and then it goes 285 degrees further. So it continues around past 90, past 180, past 270, and about right here would be another 285. Okay, so together it's 645, and it ended in quadrant 4 once again. All right, next, in which quadrant does 1,000? Now we know 1,246 is going to be a little more complicated because it's obviously bigger than 360, and it's quite a bit bigger than 360. So what do we do now? Well, you have a couple of options, and here's one option. You can subtract full circles until you get down to less than a full circle. So let's start. So if we take 1,246 minus 360, we get 886, which is still more than a full circle. So we're going to subtract a circle again. Subtract 360 from 886, and we get 526, which is still bigger than a full circle. So we go again and subtract 360, and we get 166. Now that is what we need because this is not more than a full circle. So we can see that 1,246 will go around the circle 1, 2, 3 times and then have 166 degrees left. It's positive, so it would start at 0 and it would open up 1 circle, 2 circles, 3 circles, and then from here it goes 166 degrees past. So we pass 90 degrees and we don't quite make it to 180. 166 degrees would place us right here in quadrant 2. So the terminal side for 1,246 degrees would be in quadrant 2. Here is negative 540 degrees. Where would that be located? Well, this one opens down, and we also notice that it's more than 360. So again, what I'm going to do is just take the positive 540, subtract a full circle from it, and what this tells me is how many full circles I make. Okay, and I get 180 left over. It's a negative 540, so I know it's going to go down. Start at 0, it will go down to make 1 full circle, right? That's the 360 we took out, and then go 180 degrees more. So another half circle, and this is where the angle would end up, right here on the x-axis. So where does it lie? It's not in a quadrant 2, it's not in quadrant 3, it's right on the x-axis.